Today's episode of the Gambola podcast brought to you by our friends from Basketball Kicks Friday. Whether you're a fan of the PBA, NBA, or Coach Carter, which is one of the best basketball movies ever, then BNKP is the only Facebook group you need to join to share our insights in the world of basketball. As always, on the line is my cousin V. Gamboa, and kasama pa rin namin si Linus Reyes to make up the Grind Boys. Pinapangalan ko na yung grupo to.
One half of the
Grind Boys na.
One half of the Grind Boys. Sayang wala si Josh eh. So what we're trying to do with this podcast or with this episode is we're trying to deep dive into some of the sports movies, popular sports movies. I think naging challenge kasi sa amin ni V was that nung nawala yung sports, wala kaming halos mapag-usapan. And we found out na what if may mga sports movies naman, let's deep dive into that kasi for sure die-hard fans din naman tayo or we were able to watch this so many times. And I think the best movie or one of the best movie to kick this off, itong bagong platform sa Gambola, is of course Coach Carter. So just to give a brief summary, a sports goods store owner accepts the job of basketball coach from his old high school where he was a champion athlete. Dismayed by the attitudes of his players, he sets out to change things. Medyo dramatic yung summary niya. But let me ask you first, what was the thing that you like about this movie kay Coach Carter?
For me, first of all, it's basketball. So medyo walang contest doon. Second, it's of course it's very inspiring, no? I mean, growing up, aspiring to be a good basketball player when the time comes, di ba? Yung mga bata tayo, yun naman yung dreams natin eh. Trying to copy some moves. After that, watch an NBA game naman. Yung mga ganun. So anything related to basketball, papatulan ko dati. And the thing is, yung storyline pa nito ng Coach Carter, in my opinion, is it's not that deep, pero it's, again, like what I said, inspiring eh. Kumbaga, may konting racism eh. Correct me if I'm wrong, di ba? May konti.
Meron.
Yeah. Yes, di ba? So,
Black Lives Matter na sila nun.
Ayun.
That time, pare. Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, tapos at the same time, Black Americans are actually dominating sport. So, di ba? Medyo nagsisiso eh. So, and then added by the great acting of Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, can you give me a movie that he acted so bad? Wala akong maisip eh, sa totoo lang. And this guy's really good. Tapos, Channing Tatum pa, di ba? So,
actually, when I did the rewatch, nung nakita ko si Channing Tatum, I was like, dito pala to? Nawala sa isip ko eh.
What? Niya, bro. Tsaka he had a limited role, He had a limited role. So, hindi mo talaga siya makapansin.
Ikaw, Linus, what did you like about Coach Carter? Do you think this is the best basketball movie ever?
Best, I'm not sure, but probably one of the best. I remember the time when I first watched it. When it came out, I think mga 2005 yan or 6, ganun.
2005.
And, 2005. And as we said, it's at that time, nung bata-bata pa tayo, we were so much into basketball. And actually, at that time, I was active in basketball. I joined a lot of summer leagues, and it really brought me back dun sa varsity days ko because I played varsity in high school. And unfortunately, I never had a coach na parang ganun na talagang who will drive you to be better. Our coach wasn't really like that, but it just reminded me of yung parang actually what they're going through. In terms of training and practice, lahat yun dinadaanan talaga namin. That you really work hard, you get your conditioning straight, and it's just very nostalgic. Na when they're doing that, I remember myself and I used to do practices. But one thing I really noticed, one of my moments that I saw there was when Coach Carter asked si Timo Cruz to do 1,000 push-ups. And ilang suicides yun? 2,000 ba? 2,500? 2,500. So, nung pinapanood ko siya, I was like, putik, paano yun, man? Kasi like, I work out, and to do 50 push-ups, sobrang hirap na. And to do 1,000, pare buti hindi siya namatay, di ba? So yung mga ganun, but ultimately it's our Cinderella story actually. I like movies like that, and what I think everybody knows, we know that how it went na yung talagang nangyari, but it's kind of sad na quite recently for the past how many years wala nang ginagawang ganong klaseng movie. Na alam mo yung after the movie you're gonna get hyped, you're gonna get pumped, like shit, kailangan mag-basketball, man. I gotta I gotta live what I just watched. And actually when I did the rewatch yesterday, that's what I immediately felt. I missed basketball. I'm not able to play anymore. It's been months since March na nakapag-basketball ako, and that's immediately how I felt. Like, damn, this movie made me want to play basketball again. And I guess that works for everybody.
Alam mo, while I was doing a research para sa Coach Carter, I tried to check lang, ano ba yung mga best basketball movies ever made? Na I thought, kala ko madami nang nagawa sa basketball eh. And ito, babasahin ko lang yung mga basketball movies so far. So we have...
Air Up There? Nandiyan bang Air Up There?
Wala nga eh. Wala.
Air Up There? Oh, man. Di ba
Space Jam. Space Jam is one. Thunderstruck. Have you guys heard of Thunderstruck?
Well, yeah. Medyo late na yan eh.
Hindi ko na alam. Semi-Pro from Will Ferrell, actually. Like Mike is a classic.
Glory Road, wala?
Glory Road. Nandito rin to. Andito rin.
Ganda yan.
Just Right. Coach Carter. White Men Can't Jump. And I think it goes back to my point that the thing that I love about Coach Carter is this might be the most or ito yung pinakamagandang acting na basketball movie out of all basketball movies ever made. As you have said kanina, we know Samuel L. Jackson. You can't go with Samuel L. Jackson talaga eh. Parang the first time he entered the scene as Coach Carter and introduced himself to Timo Cruz na sinabi niyang, di ba, sinapak niya si Timo Cruz eh. Tapos sabi ni Timo na, wait, teachers can't do that. Sabi ni Coach Carter, but I'm no teacher. I'm the basketball coach. Parang ako, okay.
Yung angas niya eh.
Oo, yung angas niya eh. Kuha niya so far eh. But it also goes back to the whole process of the team eh. Kita mo naman sa umpisa talagang kupal silang lahat, wala silang pake with the coach. Kawawa nga yung coach eh.
Yung una.
Oo, lampa-lampa lang siya. But yung process and the journey of changing the whole culture of being student athletes and what do you call this, even prevailing or kahit pa paano nag-short sila sa bandang dulo. But the journey across the whole movie was such a big impact na even though 15 years after na siya, you could still watch it right now. Sobrang nakaka-relate ka pa rin eh. I think that's the thing about Coach Carter so far eh. Now, ito medyo baka mahirap na question to eh. Ano yung ayaw niyo sa movie naman? When you rewatched it last night or something last week? Ano yung ayaw niyo about Coach Carter? Is there something ba na parang, bakit ganun? Kasi ako parang yung sa akin, to start it, parang I felt that it always had a predictable ending. Parang it's either they will fall short kasi underdog sila eh. Yun naman yung portrayal sa kanila ever since eh. Richmond Oilers underdog eh. So parang even at the start of the scene when I was watching this back in 2005 or early 2000s, parang I already had an inkling na ang kakalabanin nila is yung St. Francis or yung number 1 school. And alam ko na matatalo sila. So, alam ko na yung journey, alam ko na yung mga suicides, alam ko na yung mga quotes and everything else. Pero nung pagdating sa ending, na natalo sila sa St. Francis, parang nasa utak ko, alam ko na yan eh. Masyadong cliche na yung storyline na yan eh. For you guys, ano yung ayaw nyo naman with Coach Carter?
Me, it actually, you're right. It was too cliche, but I guess that's the dramatic part of it. Na it's not really the winning, but it's actually the journey and what you've learned.
Yeah.
But for me, this is just, I guess, a minor detail that I didn't really like. I didn't really like how yung son niya, si Damon Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like na parang siya yung naging star na nung team, na he was the MVP, na parang
it felt like Austin Rivers.
I don't know. Yeah, something like that, no? Na parang, okay, maybe magaling lang talaga siya. But to me, it doesn't really, he's a freshman. And then, but parang in real life, that really seldomly happens unless you're really super good. And secondly, since tatay mo yung coach, so siguro, talaga siya. So that's the part that I didn't really like because it's far from reality, you know. And normally, you know, in the teams that I've been with, normally pag yung player associated with the coach, yung bata-bata system that really doesn't blend well with the team. So that's something that to me, it's just far from reality. But I guess that's part of the drama that the show has.
Okay. Ikaw. Meron ka bang ayaw about Coach Carter?
Well, actually, wala akong ayaw. Pero it's a cliche storyline. Siguro yun yung pinakaayaw ko na siguro, pero very minimal. And it's also captivating, heartfelt, tapos very inspirational, well, to some degree. So tsaka like what I said, I just have to go back to what I said earlier. Since I was trying to be a basketball player, I tried to put myself in their shoes without the violence, of course. Na medyo si Timo Cruz medyo talagang sa
ghetto hoopstar.
Ghetto talaga. Tsaka although hindi masyadong nag-concentrate kung ano talaga yung dinidil niya, no? Hindi masyadong nagpunta
Wala
doon.
nga, yeah.
Diba? I was actually waiting for that. Kasi if siguro kung pinoint out sa movie yun, mas magiging deep yung what they call this, yung storyline about Black Americans getting in trouble in the streets.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. So anyway, for me, wala akong nakitang negative other than the cliche. I just enjoyed the movie so much. Siguro yung cheesiness lang. Yung cheesiness, yung buntis, tapos di ba? Sayaw sa dance floor, nag-iigitan. Medyo nag-cringe ako doon sa part na yun eh. Sino nga ba yun?
Ashanti yan.
Nagtitingin sa dito.
Gumagrind eh. Tapos parang, I can grind better.
May eye contact pa eh. So, siguro yun lang. Pero everything was not really perfect, but it's something that I'd look for in a sports movie.
Okay, very interesting. Natawa ako kay Ashanti kasi na-imagine ko nga lang, buntis siya, nakikisayaw, tapos merong konting selos na nangyayari. Pero parang, being that it's a basketball movie, napapaisip pa, bakit kasali itong scene na to?
Diba?
Why?
Tapos soda lang pala iniinom, di naman pala alcohol.
Parang sayang yung 5 minutes na yun. Nasayang sa scene na yun. Okay, let's go straight to the fun facts naman. Some fun facts from the movies. Speaking of Channing Tatum, this is actually his first movie ever. Did you guys know that?
No, I didn't know that.
First movie ever, Channing Tatum. Big breakout siya the year after that. So 2005, he starts Coach Carter. In 2006, dito na siya pumutok halos eh. Dito na yung Step Up 2, Public Enemies, G.I. Joe, sunod-sunod na siya. Pero apparently, that was his first movie, Coach Carter. Speaking of Ashanti, si Ashanti naman, it's also her first movie din. Hopefully, yun din yung last movie niya. Sana yung last movie. Okay. Yung totoong Ken Carter, yung totoong Coach Carter, he only had one dream choice para sa role nung nilapitan siya for the movie. And it was actually Samuel L. Jackson. Do you guys think mayroon pa bang ibang Black African-American actor that would have portrayed Coach Carter very well?
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Oo nga.
Titans.
Yeah. Galing niya ron.
Bagay siya doon. Kailangan next podcast yun. Cuba Gooding.
I'm watching that, partner.
Cuba Gooding
Jr.?
Tingin mo, pangit?
Well, okay lang din. Pero wala siya yung legendary angas na meron si Samuel and si
sabagay, si Denzel.
Yun yung kailangan for a coach eh.
OG talaga eh. OG eh.
Jamie Foxx. Pang player lang si Jamie Foxx eh. No?
Siguro.
At that time, medyo bata-bata pa siya nun eh. So, younger than...
Iniisip ko sino yung black actor na parang tabingi yung mukha. Yung medyo chubby pero tapos ganito yung mukha niya. Yung medyo lusaw yung left, side.
Ay, doon sa Black Panther.
Oh, is Black Panther. Ha?
Eric Lasal?
Di siya. Wait lang Sino nga ba?
Wait.
Parati rin siyang nandito sa mga nandito sa mga gitong movies eh.
Pwede rin yun, yeah.
I forgot.
Actually, he's yung guy na sinasabi kong yun, he's also part of Rebound. Which
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, it's Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker.
So, Rebound din siya.
Pero
Si
I think
Whitaker?
Yeah.
Pero I think he's more of the drama eh. Pero yung angas talaga eh. Kasi I think bagay yung Samuel L. Jackson in terms of the way he pushes the team and the way he talks na parang yung mga words na sinasabi niya and bagay talaga.
Yung control ni Samuel L. Jackson talaga eh. Especially in this movie. Kitang-kita mo from the very first second na makita mo siya. Alam mo he's going to be the number one character agad eh.
Yeah.
Okay. Coach Carter, according to the movie, Coach Carter was paid $1,500 or 75,000 pesos to fix the basketball program in 4 months. Apparently, sobrang underpaid pala siya. Considering na ganun yung ganun yung kabigat ng sitwasyon ng basketball team niya. Kasi if you look at the Philippine State, although sa college mga million sigurado yung ino-offer
This is
sa
high school, di ba?
Ito high school naman to eh.
Yeah.
Ty Crane, sinong player to? Tingin nyo. He's actually based on a real-life NBA player. Si Ty Crane.
Lefty gan ba? Hindi naman siguro.
Hindi lefty. He was only based...
Kevin Durant?
Hindi. Ikaw, Linus. Who's your wild guess?
It was indicated there?
Ako, feeling ko, it was based on Kevin Garnett.
No.
Ty Crane is actually based on Tyson Chandler.
Oh, talaga?
Oh, Tyson Chandler pala.
I see.
No. Hindi, kaya may mali nga sa movie nung sinabi niyang parang the next LeBron James, I'm the only Ty Crane. Kasi Tyson Chandler was drafted
earlier.
2001.
2001. Yeah.
2001 siya. So, apparently ito medyo nakagulat. Except for Damian Carter, yung anak, none of the Richmond players actually exist in real life. So, sila Timo Cruz, sila Junior Battle, lahat sila based lang. Parang merong konting impersonations lang on the real life Richmond players. Pero hindi talaga siya totoong tao.
Okay.
No, what does that mean? They also, did they change the names of those kids or they weren't really...
No, kumbaga may mga players talaga, pero yung mga names na nandun, sila Junior Battle, sila Timo Cruz,
they don't exist.
They don't exist talaga. They are just combinations of players that Coach Carter has coached throughout his career.
Okay, so how about the storyline?
The storyline is naman, sabi ni Kent Carter, when I was reading this, the accuracy is 98% daw. So, take 98%. That with a grain of salt. 98%.
So na doon yung 2% na hindi siya nag-game si Ty.
Apparently, 2% lang yung bilang niya na hindi totoo yung mga players na ginamit. Apparently. Tsaka yung mga game-winning shots. But I'm sure yung mga Delilah, yung mga Linda, those are true. Those are based from the real Coach Carter.
Actually, yun yung one of my favorite moments of the movie. The plays. And the way he explained it, like, Delilah was my sister. Tapos i-explain niya that he was always on my ass. Ganyan sinasabi gano'n. And I'm like, galing ganda ng press nila. Ganun yung pangalan. Tapos yung isa trapping defense. So, I love that.
Alam niyo dun sa mga players sa Coach Carter, of all the actors, isa lang ang hindi marunong mag-basketball. Hulaan niyo sino? Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum apparently didn't know how to play basketball.
Nasa itsura niya eh. Well, pag hawak mo yung bola, alam mo kung marunong sa hindi eh. Makikita mo eh. So, nakita ko ito, hindi marunong basketball to.
Okay.
Magaling lang siya sumayaw.
So, kita mo nga pagkapasa ng bola sa kanya, nag-breakdance lang. May ganun scene. Okay.
So, wait, I want to ask you guys, who's your favorite player? Like, sa buong squad niya, like, sino yung pinaka parang, this is my guy, parang gano'n?
Pare? Junior Battle ako eh. I like those mga big man na prototypical power forward pero pwede mag small ball 5. Junior, parang si Junior Battle, sa scouting ko siya sa movie. Meron siyang ganong skills eh. May sino nga ba yung nasa Clippers yung nawala? Kasama nila Lamar Odom yun eh. Meron na siyang podcast ngayon.
Darius Miles.
Darius
Darius
Miles.
Miles?
Yeah, exactly. Parang Darius Miles eh. Kayo, sinong favorite nyo?
Ako,
Worm. Ayun si Worm.
Parang Timo Cruz eh.
Ako din, Timo
Sa akin
Cruz.
yung ano eh. Siya yung sa akin, siya yung semi-main, ano ako lagi, main character gaya ko lagi sa movie eh. Siya yung parang semi-main character na medyo hindi
Saka shooter pare. Timo
Oo.
Cruz.
Adam
Fast
Morrison.
break,
I think Adam Morrison yan.
Alam mo yun, talagang may substance yung story niya. May pinagdaan. Parang, sorry, Channing Tatum, pero alam ko naman di ka makikinig dito. Talagang Channing Tatum parang extra lang talaga eh. Gets mo? Talagang ito, one of the main characters. So yeah, I'm going with Timo Cruz.
Okay,
Timo Cruz.
Timo Cruz kasi undersized undersized shooting guard eh. Pero Shooter naman kung shooter talaga.
Shooter siya, di ba?
Okay, so we all know that this movie, ang hero talaga nito or yung MVP of this movie is Samuel L. Jackson or Coach Carter. Heading to our category, sino yung tingin yung ang Bongo Award or yung second best character sa movie na to? Who deserves that? The first ever Bongo Award for the Gambola. Timo Cruz kayo?
Parang nasabi ko na eh, yeah. Siya yung favorite ko dun.
Actually, parang malayo, no? Malayo, no? Parang wala naman atang second best character talaga. Aside from him. Aside from Timo.
No, ako, mas gusto ko yung boyfriend ni Ashanti. I just forgot his name.
I'll check now.
Yeah.
Ako kasi parang to me, si Kenyon.
Kenyon.
Si Kenyon. Yeah. Ako to me, Kenyon Stone. Ako tingin ko, he's to me like the second character because I think yung airtime niya with the movie is very high. Na a lot of following about his story with the baby and the abortion and going to college. Kasi I think siya yung may pinaka-legit shot na pumuntang college eh.
Yeah.
Na nagulat din ako na matalino siya, that his GPA is 3.5. And he's a good basketball player, so he's very responsible. So I think he's like the second guy. Yeah, that's him.
Feel old yet?
Yeah, man.
Siya si Rob Brown. Gusto ko sana sabihin si Worm eh. Kaso parang yung character ni Worm, in every movie, especially sa mga sports movie, yung character ni Worm na patawa, parating may ganun.
Comic relief.
Comic relief.
Yeah.
Pero yung magandang gameplay din niya eh. Parang siyang Andre Miller. Based on...
Tsaka parang naging villain siya for a while, pero parang kapos eh. Parang hanggang doon lang. Parang tinagap niya kagad si Damien Carter, di ba?
Sayang, no? Kung may rivalry sana between Damien Carter and Worms.
Kung humaba ng konti, di ba? May drama eh.
Kasi
one game lang eh.
One game lang, pinasahan lang yan ng game winner, di ba?
Winner siya.
Tapos okay na.
Okay na sila. They're tight. Tight na sila.
Yun. One of the things that we disliked about the movie. Siguro yun. Pero that's very small eh.
Yeah, okay. So yung konting focus lang. So less Ashanti dancing, more on-court rivalries for We Gamboa. Okay. Okay, for the next award naman, let's go with the least valuable player or bakit nandito siya award. Sino tingin niyo yung pinakawalang kwentang character sa Coach Carter? Ashanti? Sayang sa screen time.
Actually eh. Dalawa sila.
Sino isa?
Yung Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum not getting so much love. Channing Tatum yung sausaw eh. Parang hindi naman talaga kasama. Pero sausaw lang to.
Kakasabi niyo lang, hindi siya marunong basketball, di ba? Yun na yun. Icing on the cake.
They just need a white boy. So siya yung nilagay sa team nila. Actually, di mo napapansin dun sa ibang teammates nila that they have parang may Asian pa ata silang teammates.
May Asian, di ba? May Asian eh.
Tapos meron isang mataba na Asian din ata na yung nasa background pag nagpapan yung camera, gano'n.
Hindi kasi para sa akin, yun naman yung mga LVP ko, yung mga bakit nandito sila award. Kasi if you look at the rotation ni Coach Carter, parang he's only playing as 7-man rotation halos. 7 or paminsan 8 pa eh. So parang ano ginagawa ng iba? Nakita mo naman hindi fit yung katawan, parang hindi nagsusuicides, hindi kasama dun sa conditioning ni Coach Carter. So parang ako, sayang yung pwesto na yan. Bakit?
Realistic eh. Realistic. So, nung high school tayo, may ganun eh. I'm one of those guys. Mataba, maliit, shooter lang. Alam mo ganun.
Pero, I imagine pag nandun ka, at least maingay ka or mapapansin ka. Sila all throughout the movie, parang tahimik lang, nakikicheer lang, gela.
Correct.
Diba? So, di mo pansin eh. So,
Sila yung malakas give me 1,000 suicides. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's move to our next topic naman, or next category. Ano yung mga top moments nyo from the Coach Carter? Siguro let me start off with the famous one, yung kay Timo Cruz. I think the quote with Timo Cruz signifies yung change of his character. Kasi even at the start talaga, kita mo yung pagiging gangster niya, pagiging bad boy niya, na parang, don't you know who I am? Di ba sabi nga niya kay Coach Carter. And to be able to answer that na our greatest fear is blah, blah, blah. That whole monologue, pag sinearch mo siya sa YouTube, up until now, ilang millions of views yung meron eh. And I think it's one of those scenes wherein you could just rewatch anytime kung gusto mong ganahan sa basketball, kung gusto mong ganahan with work or anything. The way that he said that or he paraphrased everything, parang ang laking bagay eh. It's very, very inspiring talaga for me. For you guys, ano yung mga top moments yun naman?
Ako, yung stand ni Coach Carter na, di ba, during the lockout, parang everyone was voting against him. Everyone is telling him to basically quit because the kids need to play, want to play. I mean, you're taking away something that the kids love, and the kids excel in, which is basketball. Kumbaga parang when he said na if you really want to do this, you don't have to take me away. Or you don't have to, what they call this? I'm not sure about the exact term. But if you're really going to do this, I'm just going to quit. Parang it's just sending a message na he just wants this positivity to grow on the kids' future. This is what it is in the outside world. Kumbaga, you need to do, make good with your studies. Kasi without it, you'll just be another dead kid on the streets. So parang yun yung point niya. Parang he just stood with it and hindi siya nagpabili. Usually, di ba, may mga corruption dyan eh. Hindi siya nagpabili whatsoever. Gusto niya gawin to because it's not for him. It's for the kids. He can coach elsewhere. Kumbaga, this is not a prime school naman for him to stay, di ba? So para sa akin yun, that was really striking for me. And it really put the movie on the map.
And to add to what you said, actually when he did that, na nag-quit siya, and when the moment he got to the gym, yung team niya nandun for him.
Yes.
And then they were studying, diba? And then that's where the whole speech of Timo Cruz came in. Your biggest fear.
Yes.
Not that we're inadequate, something like that, right? Yun talaga yun eh. Yun nag-strike sa akin eh. So, well, for me, first, my favorite was, of course, the basketball aspect. I guess it's a glimpse of how the varsity teams are being run. But ultimately, I like the ending part when they lost. Then he was talking to his team. When I got you, you were boys, and now you're men.
Yeah.
And then I'm so proud of you and things like that. So ako, yun yung parang what really struck me na even though they didn't win, personally, he has achieved this goal of really making sure that these people will change. So ako, to me, I think the best moment for me. But on the lighter note, I like the moment when nag-sneak out sila. Yung nag-champion na sila, and then umalis sila, nag-sneak out sila, pumunta na dun sa bahay nung girl na nag-invite sa kanila. Then they were doing this pool thing na...
Maganda yung girl,
Maganda yung girl. Chicks yun, pare.
Chicks na chicks pa rin,
So, yung ginawa nila yun, tapos nahuli siya and all that. Na parang ako, actually, in my head, parang, dami naman, Coach Carter, nag-champion na kayo. I mean, give your boys a break, man. Let them enjoy this. Celebrate, dude. So, yeah, that was my favorite moment na on the light side, not the serious side.
Meron akong gustong tanungin sa inyo. Di ba si Coach Carter during the movie or throughout the movie, Parang yung sinasabing student athletes, student comes first. Do you think na na-apply pa rin siya ngayon? Kahit dito sa Philippines, do you think it still applies dun sa mga superstars, sa mga basketball teams, or in the high school circuit or in college circuit man lang, na may student athlete pa rin? Kasi nung sinasabi ni Coach Carter yan, when I was watching that last night, naisip ko, ang daming mga basketball players na binigyan nila ng chance na wag na mag-aral, mag-basketball ka na lang. For example, si Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is a prime example of this one. I know, yung pumunta siya sa Memphis nung nag-NCAA siya. Kasi may mga SAT yan may mga college exam siya And dinaya nila yon kasi medyo Derrick Rose is not really the smartest person there is. Pero I think given the fact na basketball focused lang siya, it was into his advantage kaya siya nakapag-NBA. Do you guys think that yung pagiging student athlete is actually a disadvantage for these players? Kasi nawawala sila ng time to pursue their collegiate dreams or their basketball dreams?
For me, no Kasi parang it's actually a part of something that kumbaga, it's preparing you for life in general. That's what the school is all about That's what most schools are trying to avoid. Kumbaga, I'm sure most schools are trying to do the right thing. Kumbaga, still put the kids in school, sports come second, because the message here is basketball is not forever. And of course, after life after basketball, you need to have some knowledge about say entrepreneurship, business. Kumbaga, let's say si Shaq, perfect example si Shaq. In his rookie year, nilusta niya lahat ng sweldo niya. Binila niya lahat ng coaching tatay niya, binila niya ng bahay niya. Before he noticed, wala na laman yung bank account niya. And right now, even before his retirement, he owned 20 Burger Kings, 20 something like that.
Very successful in his own life.
Businessman, yeah.
Yeah, businessman. Kumbaga yung message na pino-point out ng schools, not even the profession, is you have to do your studies first before your basketball career. And yung one and done, everyone's trying to avoid it, pero maritigas talaga ulo ng mga bata
And then, ang laki kasi ng financial aspect talaga when they skip the rest of their college years I was going back dun sa point ko lang, parang iniisip ko nga, for example, sa UAAP, sino ba dito yung schools talaga na nag-i-implement ng student-athlete type? I'm sure Ateneo is one. Kasi when they suspended Thirdy Ravenna because of academics, doon ko nakita, okay, they value so much of education. Pero aside from Ateneo, I don't think there's any other school I'm sure LaSalle is not like that. Even though galing ako sa LaSalle. UP, yeah, probably. Pero
kita naman sa record nila before this I mean, years before, kita naman sa record nila, they were really making studies. Sorry.
Pero actually, here in the Philippines, I mean, now more than ever, I think mas na-implement na siya. I think there's a level of awareness of most schools na ginagamit siya. Na ginagawa pala siya. But to your point, David, I think maraming schools pa rin na they let it slide. Actually, even before in my back then when I used to play, and of course when you compete around certain players na magagaling sila, and you're gonna know na lumipat ng ganitong school to kasi dun sa kabilang school and actually when I was in high school, because I played for the school, right, and a lot of us are thinking of going to play for college UAAP, so most of the players who can really make it, or who's like being more focused on basketball, ang kinukuha nilang mga courses or subjects are really the ones that are no-brainer. I wouldn't really say it no-brainer. I mean, there's no disrespect to these people, no. But it's more of it's not really the hardest course if you think about it. And I guess because it's the difficulty of balancing the academics and the basketball is probably a factor. That's why they do that. But yeah, I think it still happens that you just play basketball. I know for some schools na actually they really recruit people from the province na they don't really need to go to class that much. Parang pasukan mo lang to. The most common thing that they do is, di ba sa college noon, meron kang certain number of subjects na kailangan mo per term, right? They're gonna get the lightest load. They're gonna get like 3 subjects per semester so that they can focus on playing basketball and just do yung academics are just secondary. And then, tatlo na lang subjects nila, then assign pa sila ng tutor, right? So, talagang ganun, so that they can prioritize that basketball. So, they make it flexible para maka-focus ka. Total, sa college naman, 5 years ka naman nandyan eh, di ba? So, you have a lot of time. Pero, what really disappoints me right now is actually yung ginawa ni NBA na option that you don't need to go to college, but you just need to be a pro. You can go to G League, then eventually get into the league, like what Kai Soto is doing right now. I think going to college still is better for a person because you're gonna learn a lot of system, organized basketball. So, and of course, yung value ng academics at what you guys said. So, maybe it's what the NBA thinks right now that it doesn't really matter. I don't know, but me, I'm not really in favor of that.
Siguro just to add lang dun sa what do you call this, dun sa G League route. So people, players especially, pag may option nga sila na from high school to NBA, transition na sila, wala na magka-college. But there are some notable NBA players that actually came back to their college even though nasa professional league na sila. Vince Carter is one. I think Vince Carter graduated sa
North Carolina.
North Carolina. And he attended his graduation during the playoff series eh. I think that was in 2001 eh. Di ba kaya siya tinira eh. So, yeah, I think that's one thing that we have learned kay Coach Carter.
Even Shaq, right? See, Shaq got his doctorate in LSU. Yeah. And LeBron James actually openly said na parang if he had the chance to do college, he would have done it differently and go to college. Kasi he felt like sayang yung actually what the NBA players are saying that especially those who jumped from high school to the NBA is hindi nila na feel yung March Madness vibe.
Yeah.
Actually, yun yung pinaka-hype sa mga
I think
NCAA.
even si Kobe talked about this. He wanted to be part of Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah.
Yun yung na-miss hindi na yung March Madness eh. Anyway, let's go sa next topic naman natin or next category. Some unanswerable questions. So, you guys could add kung baka may mga questions kayo about Coach Carter. But for me, ang first question ko, ilang months na ba buntis si Ashanti during the movie? Ilang months na siya, Wee?
So, mga 3 siguro, 4. Kasi hindi pa malaki eh.
Oh, so bakit sila
start?
Ano yun?
Hindi, di ba parang nag-start siya na delayed pa lang siya? Tapos, I don't know what happened. Hindi lumalaki, hindi siya kaka-belly bump or what. Pero delayed pa lang siya noon.
So, nagulo na ako sa timeline ng movie nung alam kong buntis siya. Tapos, may mga practices, may mga tournaments na. Then, seeing si Ashanti hindi lumalaki. Parang, ano bang nangyari? Ano ba? Baka mamaya, missed period lang. Alam mo yun?
An answered question ko is, like for example, si Timo Cruz, after doing 2,500 suicides, 1,000 push-ups, and he's ready for game day. Pare, that's parang for sure sasakit yung katawan mo ng mga isang linggo noon, pare. Hindi ka makakalaro. And the first thing he gets in the game, makakatres siya agad. Parang, come on. No.
Pero hindi niya tinapos eh. Diba? He was helped by his teammates.
He was helped by his teammates.
Naka-800 o 1,000 suicides na rin siya. Diba?
Wild ba rin yun?
61 na ginawa eh. Diba?
Oh. Yun yung gusto ko rin malaman. Ano yung recovery plan ni Timo Cruz after that? Ano yung kinain niya? Ano yung shake na binigay sa kanya or what?
Well, if you think about it, they're kids, right? So baka kaya nung katawan nila. But
pero Linus 1,000 suicides.
Steak dinner yun, bro.
Unanswerable.
Yung conditioning, yun. Parang grabe.
Another unanswerable questions. Ano ba bisyo ni Timo Cruz? Ba't siya nasa gangster?
Diba?
I guess, diba? Parang nasa drugs ba? Nasa gang war?
Diba, lending ba yan? Or what?
Lending, diba?
It looks like drugs. Kasi diba nung nire-remit niya yung pera dun sa cousin niya, tapos binigyan siya ng, here, I keep some for you. Tapos may binigay pa sa kanya na nilagay niya sa hat niya. Sinano niya.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I immediately knew it was drugs. It was like crack or weed or something like that.
Another unanswerable question. Do you think this movie is slightly racist, being that ang Mexican is the drug dealer, si Timo Cruz, yung mga blacks Bobo, ayaw mag-aral. And yung whites naman, di marunong mag-basketball. Channing Tatum.
Wala hindi mawawala yung racism sa categorizing di ba? Kasi it's I don't know, it's probably stereotyping. Siguro yun lang yung mas mas better term.
Yeah.
But it makes it more real, di ba? Parang ganoon naman kasi talaga, di ba?
Yeah, may point naman. Kayo, meron pa kayong mga unanswerable questions aside from that?
Unanswerable questions.
Bakit lumipat si Damian Carter from St. Francis to Richmond Oilers? Na kung saan mas mataas yung chances niya to be scouted sa St. Francis, di ba?
Well, sinabi naman niya dun sa movie.
Wants to play, right?
Yeah, he wants to play his dad.
Yeah, pero if you are going to pursue a collegiate career, di ba? Doon ka sa St. Francis, doon ka sa mas kilala. Diba?
Yeah, and you only play for that because you probably want to play more minutes. Pero doon pa lang sinabi na you're gonna earn every minute So parang medyo loose siya doon So medyo weird lang na yung pinili niya.
Saka kung kakampi mo siya, parang may bias agad, naiinis ka kasi parang pinapalaro siya kasi tatay mo yung coach Alam mo yun, you will never get the respect. Hindi ko alam baka for me, you wouldn't get the respect talaga given that
he's probably the best. Isn't he the best player there?
Yeah, he was MVP.
Yeah, he was.
He was MVP.
He was. But I still like Junior
Battle. An unanswered question na napansin ko lang. The first one was, during their practices, I don't get that Coach Carter is in a suit. Kasi sobrang init noon, pare. And realize ko na parang, so pag pinapanood ko siya, parang, bakit di na pang practice outfit to? Kasi when you do practices, normally yung coaches mo naka joggers and sweatpants or naka-basketball outfit din siya, throwing the so parang, why is he always in a suit? Right? That's the first one. And the second one, whenever he would call timeout or teach stuff, never siyang gumamit ng playboard. Parang, I was looking at it like, sige, pakita mo yung playboard mo. Nasa yung playboard mo? Wala siyang playboard. Hindi yung dummy board, hindi niya ginagamit. So parang, paano mo naturo yan? Paano mo nagawa yung last play na ganito, di ba na? So, yun yung mga little things na napapansin ko na parang,
Yung first question mo, Linus, when, di ba nagsusot siya ng suit, I think it's his way to show dun sa mga tao niya or sa mga players niya that you really have to be a man. Diba yun ang tinuturo niya all throughout? You have to be a pro. So, treat yourself as a professional player. I understand
in game day, yeah. Pero, like, NBA coaches, then game day, they're all in like suits, Pero, pag training, di ba, you'll see Coach Pop wearing a Spurs jersey or something like that. Jogging shorts,
di ba? Yes.
Grilling shoes. Alam mo yung grilling shoes ng New Balance, yung medyo white na.
Nakaganon siya, di ba? So,
backyard grilling shoes.
Yeah, so nakikita mo sila lahat And ako, I don't know if you guys noticed yung team manager nila, yung somebody who keeps on the stats. Nung tinitingnan ko ngayon, parang ako, man, this kid can play. Parang pag tinitingnan ko siya, parang mas magaling pa siya kay Channing Tatum. Ba't kaya hindi naglalaro to?
Kasi nandun yung Asian na player. Nandun pa yung slot puno pa. Hindi pa nakapat. Hindi pa napapataya.
Sobrang hindi magiging sobrang hindi siya magiging credible kapag may magaling na Asian doon, I swear. Sobrang hindi.
Mas bagay pa ako yung Asian yung team manager di ba? Like the Asian guy keeping track of the stats, parang
kasi nakasalamin.
Glasses pa siya, mas bagay.
Siguro yung remake ng Coach Carter, kaya mga 2025 sana pag nagka-remake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hindi malabo yun, Hindi malabo.
Coach Carter again, no? Speaking of Coach Carter, alam niyo saan siya pumunta after the Richmond Oilers?
Okay.
He was in slam ball. Alam niyo yung slam ball? EXN? Nag-coach siya dun. Yung may mga trampoline.
No way.
Yeah, he did.
No.
Yes, he was.
Parang yun parang Coach Carter sellout. No way.
After that, he became a motivational speaker na lang.
Well, that makes sense. But no, him being a slam ball coach, throws this movie out of the window.
Yeah,
Exactly. Parang naging sellout siya. Like, what? What?
alam mo yung team niya sa Slam Ball. It's the
Okay.
LA Rumble. LA Rumble.
Not really familiar with Slam, but I enjoy it though. That
Yeah.
But if you think about it, I mean, you can't give him some shit for that. Kasi, you gotta pay the bills, man. I mean, kung inoferan ba naman siya ng malaki, he has to feed the family, send somebody to college.
Yeah.
Probably, you'd understand.
Okay, I take my word back, Nagpabili pa si Carter. Nagpabili siya.
Imagine, he was paid $1,500 lang for 4 months. Send some kids to college. Man, I gotta take my paycheck. Diba?
Yeah.
So,
I'll take 5K.
exactly.
Okay. Okay, to end this podcast, in one sentence or in 1 to 2 sentences, what are the lessons learned from this movie? For you guys. Lessons learned.
Linus, go ahead.
I'll start with Black Lives Matter. No, I think it's interesting to see na 15 years ago issue na siya, and up until now issue pa rin siya. So it really goes to show how much people in society really downplays this thing, that it really happens, and it's sad to see na kids are dying. Yung statistics na sinasabi na nobody goes to college, people are dying, people end up dead, and I think that's the reality of these people that are in the hood, and and I think that really struck me na up until now ganun pa rin siya. And if you relate it here in the Philippines, it's no different, I guess. Sa atin, we're very lucky that we're here in our own houses, and pero yung mga iba siguro dyan sa mga liblib na lugar, talagang ganun yung experience nila, so I guess more than the Black Lives Matter, it's about how we can really help out those areas where they don't really have a choice, that change is really needed. So yeah.
We for you.
Well, for me, that's what Linus said. Yeah, even 15 years before, or 15 years before that, it's really it's really a problem already. Not just basketball, but in other sports, football, soccer, baseball, all major sports have this particular problem. And to think na a sport can bring everyone together, that's something to keep, as a sports enthusiast. If you have that in mind at all times, it would be an edge over negativity in the world. So this movie actually proved that humanity still lives. Humanity is still within us, everyone, and to think na it's one of the best basketball movies ever created today. So I have a positive rating for it. I'm not a movie critic, but for me, as a basketball person, as a movie lover, I love the movie, and it's one of the best for me.
Siguro you guys were able to to discuss na talaga ano yung mga key lessons. For me naman, it's about yung sinabi ni Coach Carter about the student-athlete part. Student comes first. Kasi a lot of people, especially now, makikita mga people are so excited to join the pro leagues or to join the UAAP. Na, magaling ako sa basketball, scholar ako dyan, papabayad na lang on other thing. Wala namang masama dun eh. But people are forgetting as well the student part, that at a young age, you really have to study. Education is such a huge thing that we really need. Kasi yun yung foundation ng mga tao eh. So, yun yung tumatak din naman sa akin after the movie. Yung student-athlete talaga. Student comes first. And with that, that's about it for the Coach Carter deep dive. Mukhang okay yung naging format natin dito, no?
Mm-hmm.
Sa'yo naman.
Yeah.
So we'll try to do this every week. We'll see kung ano yung pwede nating next sports podcast for this one. But as always,
remember Tatum.
Sige.
Sorry. No more. But I kid you not, it's a badass movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
A feel-good, badass movie from Denzel Washington.
It's actually better than Coach Carter, I think, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Let's let the viewers. Let's ask the viewers.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Thank you to my cousin Gambola. Thank you to Linus Reyes. Hopefully next time makasama natin si Josh to complete the Grind Boys. Thank you to Basketball Kicks, pare. See you guys next time. Bye.